Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'll be presenting my assignment on The Life of Pi by Yann Martel with a focus on the theme of lost innocence. The Life of Pi tells a story of Pi Patel, a teenage boy who survives a shipwreck and finds himself stranded on a lifeboat with a Bengal tiger named Richard Parker. On the surface, it's an adventure and a survival story, but at its heart, it's about faith, human nature, and growing up under extreme circumstances. In Life of Pi, Yann Martel explores the loss of innocence through Pi's transformation from a curious and gentle boy into a hardened survivor, showing how traumatic experiences strip away innocence but also lead to growth, resilience, and maturity. At the beginning of the novel, Pi is innocent in many ways. He is fascinated by religion, practicing Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam at the same time. He also has a gentle love for animals, as he grew up in his family zoo. This stage of his life represents childhood innocence, curiosity, and idealism. But innocence cannot survive when Pi is thrown into unimaginable circumstance. After the shipwreck, Pi is forced to make choices he's never imagined. At first, he's horrified by the idea of killing animals as it goes against his religious and moral beliefs. But as hunger and depression take over, he begins to adapt, catching fish, killing turtles, and using every resource to survive. This shift marks a clear transformation from an innocent and spiritual boy to a predicament survivor. His internal struggles reveals the emotional toll to survive and clash between morality and innocence. Richard Parker, the tiger, became a symbol of Pi's primal survival instinct. The animal represents a part of Pi compatible of violence and detachment, traits necessary to endure the harsh reality of the ocean.
Good afternoon. Today I'll be presenting my assignment on The Life of Pi by Yann Martel with the focus on the theme of loss of innocence. Life of Pi tells the story of Pi Patel, a teenage boy who survives a shipwreck and finds himself stranded on a lifeboat with a Bengal tiger named Richard Parker. On the surface, it's an adventure and a survival story. But at its heart, it's about faith, human nature, and the process of growing up under extreme circumstances. My thesis: in The Life of Pi, Yann Martel explores the loss of innocence through Pi's transformation from a curious and gentle boy into a hardened survivor, showing how traumatic experience strip away innocence but also forces growth and resilience in himself. Before the shipwreck, at the beginning of the novel, Pi is innocent in many ways. He's fascinated by religion, practicing Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam at the same time. He also has a gentle love for animals. As he grew up, in his family's zoo. This stage of his life represents childhood innocence, curiosity, and idealism. But innocence cannot survive when Pi is thrown into an unimaginable circumstance. After the shipwreck, Pi is forced to make a choice. Pi is forced to make choices he never would have imagined before. At first, Pi is horrified by the thought of killing animals for food, as it goes against his deeply held religious and moral beliefs. However, the desperation and anxiety of his hunger gradually override his initial revolution. Faced with the harsh reality of survival at sea, he began to adapt, learn how to catch fish with his bare hands, kill turtles for nourishment, and make use of every available resource. This transformation marks a profound shift in Pi's character. From a spiritually driven, innocent boy to a pragmatic survivor forced to confront the brutal demands of nature. His internal struggles and eventually acceptance to these acts reflect a physiological and emotional toll in his life. This highlights the complex interplay between moral survival and instinct to live. In Life of Pi, Richard Parker, the tiger, serves as a powerful symbol of Pi's primal survival instincts and reflects the central theme of duality within the human phase. Once a gentle spiritual boy who admires animals, Pi is forced to fear and control one in order to survive. Richard Parker represents a part of Pi that is capable of violence, detachment, and raw instinct, qualities that necessary to endure the brutal conditions of the Pacific Ocean. The duality between Pi's moral religious identity and his animalistic will to live, and the central to the story's exploration of trauma. By projecting his fears and instincts onto the tiger, Pi is able to cope with the physiological burden of survival and preserve the sense of himself.